Coming up on today's show.
I start with like singer-songwriter, which can be anything, I guess, really. So it's almost a non-answer. But to me, that phrase gives it a sense of a little bit of a more sort of organic kind of thing. For my keyboard, this is an RD88, which I love. It's got all these great sounds. You can run it through Logic. It's got MIDI. You can add as many sounds as you want. You can do all sorts of things with it. The keys are weighted. It's a full-size keyboard. That was really important to me. I wanted a full-size keyboard.
Yeah.
So that's what I do for keyboard. And then I record in Logic. So for me, I believe that inspiration is all around all the time. It's always right there. But if I really want to tap in, like I have to make myself available in a certain kind of way. So for me, like I'm an introvert. So for me, I like space. I like quiet. I like being by myself when I write.
Hi there, I'm April Paige, breaking down the what, when, where, and how creatives get their inspiration. I'm a big fan of the cursey words, and I've been a creative for 30 plus years in marketing and fine art. This is where creatives unite to break down the facts of creative life. Buckle up, let's get lost in the world of creativity together. Welcome everyone to Artist Antics with April, where we talk to creatives about creativity. And today I'm very excited to sit down to talk to musician Sarah Kohrs. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for sitting down with me. I appreciate it. She was born in Albany, in New York, and she sings and plays piano, flute, drums, and guitar. Oh my, I have lots of questions. And she's a singer-songwriter who loves pop, classic country, and rock. She teaches music at Thales Academy. Am I saying that right? Thales Junior High. And she's a music director at Wakefield UMC. She went to school at Eastern School of Music and Georgetown University Law Center, where she's a happily recovering lawyer. And her partner and her live in Clayton, North Carolina. Welcome, Sarah. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, April, for having me.
Yeah. So I start this out with all my guests. Where did your love of music start? Where did that spark come from? I know mine came from when I was very, very young as an artist, but I just love to hear that story.
For me, I don't ever remember not being able to sing, and I probably could sing before I could really speak, is my guess from stories that my parents have told me. So I do, some of my earliest musical memories were just dancing around with my stuffed animals. My brother and I would stage little productions with Winnie the Pooh. And I also, because I could hold pitch at a really young age and I was still very small, the choir director at my church thought that was the greatest. So she like plopped me up on the piano and I sang with the church choir when I was little.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I have similar experience. I don't, some people might not know this about me, but I'm not just a fine artist. I also love to sing, and I don't talk about it too much. I don't know that I have on the show, but yeah, I in my, car seat was singing, and I have this strange musical recall where if I can hear a song, I know the chorus right away, like a one-time play, and I've got it. So it's some kind of weird thing that I have a connection with music, and can definitely, sing the lyrics even, halfway hearing the song. So it's really cool that we have that in common. And I used to line my animals up in my grandmother's house to be my audience. So
That's
so we're similar.
An appreciative audience too.
Yes, yeah, they're probably the only ones. So that's very cool. So your family obviously perpetuated that in you and gave you like the ability to explore that. Like I'd love to hear like how they supported you and what was that like, as far as singing or playing.
So my mother is an educator. She's been in all different forms of education, speech therapy with early intervention, and then for decades, she was in special education. And my dad is just a lover of knowledge. Like he just makes learning fun and exciting. So when I started showing an interest in music, I started bugging them about taking piano lessons. I really wanted to play piano. And so I kept asking, can I get piano lessons? And I remember the day that they were like, we have some really big news for you. Like it's serious. 7 years old.
Yeah.
And they sat me down in this little swivel chair and they were like, we've decided that it's time to give you piano lessons.
Aw,
And
that's
like,
great.
yeah, I was like, whoa, like there was this excitement and also a little bit of fear because I had a sense, even at 7, that it was going to open up this world. And of course it did, you know?
Right. Well, what cool parents to recognize that and then provide it to you. That's, we talk about that a lot on the show about, exposing young ones to your passions so they can figure out, what they love and can explore. And usually it spins off from, what they've seen and heard around them. That's where their love comes from. So it's great to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have to also say my grandparents also, as I got older and continued on, I wanted to take more instruments and play more. And my parents were like, all right, this is great, but we have a budget here and however we have other children. And my grandparents stepped in and they were like, no, she wants to do it. Like she's going to do this thing. So
Yeah.
I think
I
yeah,
Go ahead, go ahead.
just to have multiple people supporting you in something that was not necessarily their dream or their gift, but they could see something in you. And yeah,
Yes.
there was like a beautiful freedom in that too, to be allowed to pursue something different. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's a lesson for us all is to let the little ones explore because you never know what that'll bring. Yeah, I had, piano I started with piano and I went into violin and then I went to, clarinet. I played clarinet in the junior symphony in, Sarasota, Florida West Coast Junior Symphony. And I was
Yeah.
second chair and, it, got, intense. Let me just say that about that, and we'll leave it alone, but it got too much and I quit. I wish I hadn't, but I did. And then I went on to, developing my art, as a fine artist, but yeah, so we have music in common for sure. So what's your favorite musical influences growing up and also now? Like all the
Um,
way.
growing up, I would say my favorite when I was very young, probably around 4 or 5, was definitely Amy Grant.
Oh,
I
that's awesome.
I loved her music. I got
Yeah,
some lyrics wrong. And again, I was always like acting out the songs too. So I would have dance moves to all the songs and I'd ask questions about the lyrics that would illustrate to anybody who really knew what they were saying that I had no idea what she was talking about.
yeah,
So that was one of my earliest ones. And then as I got older, um, my parents really loved music from the 60s and 70s. They always had oldies playing on the radio. And so to this
same.
day, that's
Yeah,
probably my strongest influence. And I love that music. I think it's just such a great creative decade. And there were so many songwriters, different kinds of music, so much exploration. So that,
agreed,
yeah,
agreed.
yeah, so that was a big one. And then today, in terms of, I listen to a lot of female singer-songwriters like Billie Eilish, Adele, Lady
Mm.
Gaga. I love all of that. Alicia Keys. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, those are all good. I listen to all of those as well. When I was listening to your music, I don't know if you like this or not, but you remind me a little bit of Sarah McLachlan. I don't know if you get that a lot,
Oh,
but
cool. Neat.
yeah, like your melodic, singing and piano playing. I was like, wow, she's, sounds like Sarah a little bit, Yeah. So, um, tell me about the instruments, like, how does one play so many and how take me through, like, the progression of that.
So it started with, I guess, singing, even though I wasn't formally trained until college. Um, but really, so I would just sing because I love to. And it was just like a part of everyday life for me. It was just a
Yeah.
thing I did. And then I started taking piano lessons at the age of 7. And then when I was in 5th grade in school, we could pick an instrument if we wanted to be in band. And so I picked flute because I thought that that was such a beautiful instrument and I really enjoyed it. And I really dug in on it. I remember at first when I got it, I couldn't make a sound out of it at all.
Mm.
So I like sat there and I almost passed out trying to get a sound out of just the headpiece. But then once I did that, like once I kind of had that rolling, then
Yeah.
that kind of took off for me because I had the background of reading notation and kind of understanding how
Yeah.
piano works and all of that.
Right. You just had to
Yeah,
make the sound.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So once you have sort of the fundamentals of music, it's about like you can acquire more instruments. It's just about learning the technique of that particular instrument. So, yeah. And then in high school, my brother started playing guitar and he really took off on that. Like he's a producer today. That's what he does. He's a professional producer, has worked in LA. And so I heard him playing and I wasn't as passionate about it, but I thought I really loved the sound of the acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
That was something that I just started strumming a little and learned a few chords and just was very self-taught in that. And it comes in handy with writing to have multiple instruments because you think about things slightly different depending on how
Mhm.
the shapes work for your fingers or like the range that you're singing in. So, and then I only started playing drums about 2 years ago. And for whatever reason, that is the instrument that has come the most naturally to me.
Really?
Yeah,
That's unusual.
I
Yeah.
sat down and fell completely in love with it.
That's great.
Yeah.
I can't get past 8 bars.
It is like, for me, it's like organization with sound and time and space. And I dig that. And it kind of brings me to like this beautiful Zen space where I feel like I'm just like floating in this river. It's kind
That's
of like
cool.
it's moving me. I'm not really moving it.
Ooh,
So
you're in the
it's a pretty,
flow. We
yeah,
talk about that here. Yeah, you're in the flow when you're doing that.
yeah,
See, when I do it, I feel like I'm trying to focus on 4 things at once, and it gives me anxiety. And I'm just like,
yeah.
"Okay, I can't do this," you know?
Well, it's such an interesting experience when like all of these disparate things in your mind and in your body all of a
Yeah.
sudden become one thing, you know?
Yes.
And I don't know, there's something really magical about that.
Yeah, for sure. Congrats to you. And number 2, I tried acoustic guitar. I actually have my mom's old guitar here, and, I tried it for a while many, many years ago, and I couldn't do it because of my fingers. Like, I just couldn't break through it takes a couple of months maybe for your fingers to get tough enough, and,
Yes.
I have really soft hands, so they were just getting eaten away, and I had to type every day, and it was like, "Ow, ow, ow,"
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think this is the instrument for me,
Yeah.
so it
The
didn't work.
guitar definitely will bite your fingers. There's
Oh
no
my gosh. It was tearing it up, and I was just like, "I don't think I can do this." I was like, "Is there finger guards? Can I do something?" You
Yep.
They're like, "No, not really."
Have to suffer through it.
Yeah. So, so, you know, I what would you call the genre of music that you play? In particular, I listen to piano pieces, but what would you call that? 'Cause, I feel like it's its own thing, I don't know what Sarah McLachlan's considered, but I feel like it's in that lane, but maybe I'm wrong, I'd love to hear what you think about that.
Yeah, I think I start with like singer-songwriter, which can be anything, I guess, really. So it's almost a non-answer. But to me, that phrase gives it a sense of a little bit of a more sort of organic kind of thing. And
Mm,
I feel like I incorporate a lot of like gestures maybe from poetry, lyrical gestures from poetry. I think a lot
yeah.
of that. And um a lot of simple like musical forms from pop. So yeah, to me, it's sort of a combination of those three things.
Very good. So, like to talk about, what you're using as far as instruments and brands and like what you're using to record your music because for all the nerds that watch us they
Or
love to hear that so and I love to hear it so go ahead because I'm a nerd too.
yeah, so, for my keyboard, I have this is an RD88, which I love. It's got all these great sounds. You can run it through Logic. It's got MIDI. You can add as many sounds as you want. You can do all sorts of things with it. The keys are weighted. It's a full sized
I,
keyboard. That was really important to me. I wanted a full size keyboard.
yeah.
Uh, so that's what I do for keyboard, and then I record in Logic. But I have a bit of a cheat because any of my songs that are fully produced that I want fully produced, I'll work with my brother to do that. So he works in Pro Tools and he's a professional producer. So he's got all sorts of goodies that I
All this stuff. Oh,
he
you
has
lucky, you're
personal
lucky.
access to.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
And
that's a
I have a Martin guitar and I have an electronic drum kit, and I just haven't, that's what I primarily have been playing on for the past couple
yeah,
months.
no,
Yeah.
that's great. Electronic helps with this the drum kit for the sound of it all. You could put your
Yeah.
headphones on and not disturb anyone for the
That's
most
it.
part,
I mean,
yeah.
there's nothing to like dampen your spirits more than getting yelled at for making too much noise.
Like, but that's the whole point, I wanna make noise, yeah.
Right.
So, that's funny. So, interesting you're working with your brother, so how's that collaboration? Like, do you guys agree on, what happens? When you don't agree, what happens there? Like, who gets, veto and stuff like that? Yeah.
If I'm the person who wrote the song, so what we do is whoever wrote the song gets veto power.
Oh,
So he's also a songwriter, and so if he will send me things sometimes and ask my opinion, and I'll tell him. And but every single time he does that, I'm like, take it or leave it. This is these are
right,
um,
right. Well, and
same.
he doesn't have to. He's just, yeah,
Right.
getting feedback. Yep. Mhm.
Yeah, and same if it's my song and he sends me something, I get veto power on whether I like it. And typically I do. Like typically I'm like, this is something either like I never would have thought of and it's amazing, or you nailed what I was thinking and I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
There've been a
That's
couple of times where he will want to take it to a place that just emotionally was like doesn't feel right to me. And so
right.
great if I'm like, that wasn't really where I wanted to go. I kind of wanted to move over in this direction. Like he's super flexible, which is really nice.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, you gotta work with the person who created it and bring that to life, so that's awesome. I'm sure he's used to that being a producer too. Yeah.
Yeah. He's really good at it because he does it all the time.
Yeah. I have to have him on the show.
Yeah.
So, do you have any, I love to find the funny, moments or inspiring or memorable times on stage or in a performance or in a recording, like, anything comes to mind that's a fun story that, you'll take with you forever and ever?
Um, the last, so mostly when I record, it is a smaller group and there's a lot of, electronic sounds. Um, the last big recording project that I did with, I think there were like 13 people involved. We were running snakes.
Oof.
This is my friend's living room. My brother flew out from LA. We had like borrowed all this sound equipment from a friend of his. So that was it. That was a great project.
Yeah.
The people
Was
coming
it
in
or
and
was
out,
it too much?
it, I loved it. I was in my
Oh, good. Oh, good.
yeah. And so we had brass, we had violins, and
Ooh.
everybody brought their own story. So one of the violinists was like, I've never actually played in the studio before. So she
Oh,
comes in and we're like, all right, well, take a breather, here's some water, whatever. She's like, okay. Nails it. Like one take, done. We were like, okay, we had like 45 minutes,
Yeah.
an hour
What
and
were
a
you
half.
nervous about?
Like, go get a drink. And also during that time, it was the coldest winter on record. So it was like negative, it was below, it was probably like negative 12 degrees outside.
Right.
And my brother and I were like, it was freezing in the house where we were recording. And we had to drive to the house early in the morning. And my brother was like, thank God for these little life pods. So, yeah, great stories from that time. And
Awesome.
people just, I've been really blessed in that everybody who played on my albums really was giving the best that they had, and they were really very aware of the song itself. So some of the people that I had played were quite exceptionally good musicians, and they were like, you know, that fill I did, it's too busy. Like it was this beautiful, like technical, lovely thing. And he was like, I think I should just have kept it more simple that like fits the feel of the song better. You know, and I was like, no way, man, we gotta like absolutely we're keeping the first one. But just that heart that they brought to it. It was just so humble and so not about them. It was really,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. One of my guests and also somebody who allowed me to sing backup with them for a little while was a band called Wooden Rings. And he's an interview on the show. And I felt that way about that band. Like they were all super good. I was the weak link in that situation. I was just trying to keep up because the harmonies were very different. They weren't, what you would consider quote unquote normal harmonies, but I was up for the challenge, and then I decided I had too many things on my plate to really give it, the attention it needed, and I had, a lot going on at that time, and I needed to focus on other things. So I bowed out gracefully, but hopefully, in the future that will work out. But I know what you mean. Like when you're around, it's almost like a good tennis match or a good sports game. I you know, equate it to that because when you have that level around you, then it forces you to come up to meet that, and not that you wouldn't try your best, but you're like, "Holy shit,"
Yeah.
I gotta step up here, So, um, yeah, I love that though, because when you have those kind of people around you, I used to sing in a jam band in Tampa too when I lived there, and all of them were retired, professional musicians, and it was so cool to play with them, and just that they allowed me into their little group made me feel honored in and of itself, but they just did all kinds of crazy stuff on the fly, and I was like, "Okay," and it's like a, roller coaster, like, "Here we go." You know?
Like,
But, yeah, it's fun and interesting, and, if you have good people that's a really good point. When you have good people around you, it helps to bring you up to where you need to be. Yeah, no, that's great. So, let's switch over to songwriting because 'cause I'm very interested in that. And
okay.
I've had other singer-songwriters on here, and, I love to hear, like, where does your inspiration come from? And I'm not gonna prompt you because I've asked that question and I've gotten, like, so many different answers. So I'd love to hear, like, where it comes from or where you think it comes from and where that hits you, and do you have to go to a certain place for it, or, how does that work?
Yeah, I feel so for me, I believe that inspiration is all around all the time. It's always right there. But if I really want to tap in, like I have to make myself available in a certain kind of way. So for me, like I'm an introvert. So for me, I like space. I like quiet. I like being by myself when I write. Um, and for me, the song has always been kind of like a poem. You know, when you read a poem and you're like, it's like there's the meaning is like there's a shadow there aside from what the words are actually saying, there's this like meaning that's like shadowy and you can almost see it, but you don't clearly comprehend it. And you kind of have to dig a little bit to get to the real meat of the poem. And I feel like for me, if I am really wanting to write a song with some like oomph behind it, you know, something that's really going to hit people, the song is sort of the bridge into whatever the experience is that I'm kind of like, that's like sitting inside me waiting to be expressed, or
Yeah.
something that I observed that's waiting to be expressed.
Right. Like
Yeah.
that little seed hits you and then you're like, "Hey, I could do something with that, and let
Yeah.
me explore that," and then something comes out of it, you know?
Yeah. I
Um,
think my favorite analogy is um, the sculptor that was just like, I have to get the man out of the stone. Like I'm getting
right.
stone, I'm removing the stone, but he's already in there.
Yep.
That's kind of how I think about writing.
Yeah, I think that was Michelangelo. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Somebody
I
had to
think he
correct
said that,
me
if
in the comments.
I'm not mistaken.
What's that?
I think he said that about the David, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's quite the statue. I've seen it in person. It's, pretty breathtaking.
Yeah.
They made a whole room for it. Um So when you have those inspirations, like, and I'm hearing that you do this, privately, alone, you don't co-write with anyone? There's no one co-writing with you? No.
No, not typically, no.
Yeah, so I always love asking this question because it's funny for me because, and I'm not gonna prompt you, I'll tell you after, but, so if you're in a bad mood, can you still write? If you're
Oh,
in a happy
absolutely.
mood, can you still write? And what comes out? Like, if you're in a happy mood, do you write sad things? Or like a sad mood, do you write happy things? It's interesting to me to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, yeah, definitely I can write in any kind of mood. And I think as I get more facile as a writer and as a craftsman, I can pick the mood. You know, like there are so many things that happen to us on a daily and even an hourly basis. You can kind of direct your attention where you want it to go. And as you learn your instrument and as you learn your craft, you're like, all right, this is going to give a certain feeling. This is
Yeah.
reflect a different kind of feeling. Which way do I want to go today? You know, so
Yeah.
that instead of, I feel like it starts off by following, you feel like there's the one thing and you have to follow the one path, like the one true path to the song. And then
Right.
as you continue on and grow, you're like, oh, I actually do have some choices. I have quite a lot of choices along this journey. And, but I will say, even with that, there are certain things that just really resonate. Like you can just feel something in
Yes,
them when you hit them.
I understand. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's not an intellectual thing. Like I can kind of intellectualize like four different patterns or whatever. But when I hit a pattern that feels like I can feel it in my heart, then I'm like, okay, that one wants to be
Yeah.
continued.
It resonates with you. That
Yeah.
happens with me too with painting, like, I call it being in the zone or being in the flow like we were talking about before, and I get lost in there, and what I'm trying to find, and I don't know if this is true for you, but I'm trying to find the razor's edge of technique and knowledge, but also letting go. So, it's, like, right in the middle where that magic happens, where you have the knowledge and the technique and basics, and advanced things, and, you're trying to let whatever it is come out to, be, birthed, I guess, is a better way to say that. And, I'd love to hear your opinion about that because for me, I'm jealous because hearing you say that you can drop everything that's happening and just, get to work like a professional. It's hard for me because I equate it so much with my emotion coming out that I'm not there yet. So I'd love to hear about that too. Like how does one do that? You just say, okay, at this door frame, I'm dropping it all and I'm going in to create something and that's it. Yeah.
So I guess for me, I have so many emotions, right? So there's like so many things. Like someone really close to me passed away. Actually, a number of people
Oh,
very close to me last year passed away.
so
And
sorry.
one in particular, I just I sat down one day, and she was just a phenomenal musician as well. And I sat down one day and I was like, all right, Abby, like, let's go. What do you want to say? And this song came out that was just like, it was beautiful, you know? So,
Mhm.
and then, but then there's also certain times where you are feeling sad, and I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to be that person today. And I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm just going to try a little, just like something light and airy and happy. And what does that mean? What does that look like and feel like? And I think for me, it's not that I'm turning away from any particular, it's not that I'm shutting down any particular emotion. It's that I feel like there are all of these pieces of the self and the emotional experience, and there's all different colors of that
yes,
tapestry, I guess, if you will. And so
that's
it's
right.
more just like turning my attention to the one that I prefer to write about that day.
Yeah, I've used it too to help when I'm hurting or healing,
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily my best work because I know that I can see it myself on the canvas, you can when you're putting that energy in on something, I for sure believe it comes out. I don't know if people think that's too woo woo, but that's the way I feel about it is there's something that transmits on there. And I'm trying to get to that actually to a new style where I have more energy on my pieces that are still, fine art and you can still tell what it is, right? And it's interesting whatever perspective or subject it is, um, and I'm trying to get more energy on it so that it feels like more movement on the piece. So it's hard to define what that is because I'm still trying to figure out, what different marks mean as far as energy and what does that mean to me and do I like it like that, you know?
Same.
And I'm trying to do all these experiments now, and I have, all kinds of I call it my box of toys. I have dog toys, kitchen items, computer equipment, stuff that I just roll on the canvas that make marks that are not controlled by me, because that's
Yeah.
sometimes where the magic happens is when you let go of control. And before, especially when my short stint in art school, because I didn't like it there, um, I was very meticulous and very precise and almost, camera realistic. And I my my professor came through and just like messed it all up. And I spent hours in the class on this thing. And he's like, "Okay, now start over and don't make it perfect." And I was like, "Oh," and I was so mad that I couldn't even like get out of my madness to understand what he was trying to do. But I do now that I'm older.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, like with music, do you have that too? Like where you are trying to use the notes as color and do you fight with being technical versus, that creative letting go?
So for me, that there's always a tension between those two things.
That's right.
But where the tension occurs, for me, the way that I think of it is like it's ever expanding outward, because I feel
Ooh,
like as you internalize the technique of something and the understanding, then you don't have to think about it anymore. So it
that's
is there
right.
is freedom and facility and just moving along with that. So yeah, so it's a very interesting process. Like things that I think I would have had to think about even 5 years ago, I
Yeah.
don't think about them, you know?
Yeah, it's an example, like, first time you drive or take your driver's test, you're like,
Right.
completely honed in on everything, and you're, so nervous and anxious, And now it's like, I don't even think about what I'm doing when I'm driving, I just it's
Right.
automatic. Yeah. No, that's
I love
cool.
what you said too about like using objects that you don't have control over to kind of start that process. Cause I think that really for me also what opens that door is a sense of playfulness.
Yes.
So if you are comfortable with mistakes and you're comfortable with being goofy and you're comfortable with not getting it right the first time, you're comfortable with letting the song tell you something about yourself that you didn't know before.
Right.
You know,
Ooh, that's good.
yeah, I love that because
Yeah.
a lot of times I think I'm someone who takes in a lot of information, but I don't process it very quickly. So if I'm like, what am I feeling? What is going on? A lot of times I'll just like let myself be really free. And what comes back at me, I'm like, oh,
Right.
that explains it. Okay. That's what's going
Right. No, that's so cool. I love the thought of that. Like, and I think the most important thing about us as creatives is what do we have to say? That's really the crux of it all. What are we trying to say to the world? Like, what is our message? What is important to us? What are we interested in? What lights us up? And sometimes that's a hard thing to land on because you have, so many, I have so many interests in so many different, areas, even in art. I'm just like, I love so many different things. And I love to dabble in abstracts and realism and,
yeah.
semi, abstract and representational. I don't know what you want to call that, but yeah, so I guess my question is, do you like dabbling? I know you like pop, rock, and country and all of
Yeah.
those things, but is that the same thing? Like, when you're dabbling in those different genres, or in your personal writing, do you stick kind of in a certain lane?
No. So I'm definitely all over the place genre wise. Like I have some songs that are like 1930s swing. I have some songs that are like really beautiful, just kind of ballads. I have a couple of songs that are like sassy country.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah, I have some that are just really more like true pop songs. It's got
Yeah.
the beat and it's got the recurring pattern.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that's cool. My mentor, he he tries to coach me into staying in a lane. He's like, "April, you have to be known for something. Like, stick to a lane for several years, get known for it, then you can do whatever the heck you want." But I don't believe that it's like that anymore. Like, I think back in the day, it was like that, but I think now, because I do everything in series, right? So I can get away with that. And I have like 5 right now. So I can put them in the series and it makes sense. So people don't think I'm completely all over the place, right? So I have a Asian series, and abstract, realism, stuff like that, music. And yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts? I mean, I think I already know the answer, but I'd love to hear what you think.
I feel that they inform one another.
Mm,
So I feel that they inform one another. I have done um I wrote the music for a friend's musical. Like she had all the poems written out and she needed somebody to do the music, and so I did that. And that was a really cool experience. And similar with like if you're writing an album, there's like some kind of through line when you do a project like that.
yeah,
You know? So it's got its own flavor, but the themes keep coming up and it's like distinctly that thing. You can see that all of the pieces belong to that whole thing as a
right.
whole.
Yeah,
Um, and so I really enjoy that.
yeah,
And I just think there's so many beautiful ways of expressing yourself or connecting with others.
that's
And
right.
I just I don't shut any of it down, really.
Yeah, I
I just
can't restrict myself. I just told him I can't do that. It's like I try to explain it to people like eating vanilla ice cream for, 3 years. I can't do it. There's
Right.
too many other flavors, and I wanna play around, and, I never thought about it that way. That's a good point, is because I'm playing around in those other flavors, when I come back to the vanilla, I you might have something new to bring to it, so
Yeah.
that's a good thought, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think they inform one another. And the older I get too, the more I had a friend I had a friend tell me once I produced a show of all my original songs, and a friend of mine attended, and she was like, "You're writing." She's like, "It's all so different and it's all so you."
Right.
So that
That's
was
how I
cool.
feel about my
Yeah,
art.
it's
It's all different, but it's also me. Yeah.
yeah, there's like a through line here happening.
Yeah, I think so too. Thank you for that. Thank you for acknowledging me.
Yeah.
So, let's see, do you set time for creation, like a specific schedule, or do you leave it organic? Or and, we talk about the play. I don't know if you have play outside of music, but I talk about that a lot on the show, and I highly encourage it for any adult to have some kind of play in their life, even if they don't have kids. So I'm just curious to see and hear, do you set time to create, and what is your play?
So, yeah, I prefer to have a set time to write. Like, I feel like it's like anything else. Like, if you do consistently every day, that's really the magic of it. My natural state I tend to be a crammer. So I have to work at setting aside that time. And I am somebody who really likes to finish things when I start. And so it's been also a discipline to know when to stop and when to continue on.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I have that problem too. Like, I go till 2 in the morning, and, when you're in that flow, you don't wanna stop because it doesn't happen all the time. Like,
yeah,
there's some days when I sit down and I'm fighting, I'm just fighting the canvas, and it drives me insane. I almost wanna punch it. And there are some days I'm in the flow so badly, I'm like, lift my head up and it's 2 in the morning and I gotta work the next day, and I'm like, "Holy shit," So, yeah, I totally get that. And for me, it's like I try to listen into myself intuitively, and I know that's gonna, again, be a little woo-woo for people, but, it's true. Like, if I have certain things set in my calendar for the day, I might mix things around, because I'm not feeling up to it in the morning, right?
yeah.
Or I'm feeling up to it the morning, so I'm gonna switch that to the afternoon or evening or whatever. But, yeah, so it sounds like you're really structured with it, though.
I do better when I am structured.
Okay.
And as I get busier, that becomes harder to maintain, you know?
Yeah. 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 I'm
But
trying to listen to myself, be kinder to myself in listening, so that I'm not driving just to drive.
right.
I'm driving because that's what feels right now, and, yeah, I'm trying to figure that out right now.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear about creative blocks. We talk about this a lot too. So when you have one, I know I do, what do you do when that happens?
Probably my biggest go-to is going for a walk.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So if I'm sitting there and nothing is working out and my brain is whatever, I will get up and go for a walk, drink some
Mhm.
water, do something, move around. That's a big one. A lot of times when I'm walking, something will happen. And then the other go-to is if I'm like, no, I really like there's something here, I just start saying nonsense things. Just being really goofy.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah. Yeah.
really bigger than life piano chords, nonsense words, rhymes, fun,
Yeah, it's almost like you gotta
playful,
shake it off of you. Yeah, yeah, I totally get that. Yeah. No, that's great. So, um, do you have, like, adult play outside of music, or you consider that your play?
I guess I would probably consider that my play. I really enjoy cooking as well. And
Oh,
that's,
good. Yeah,
yeah,
me too.
another area where I'm just like, I will read like 3 to 5 recipes and then I'll just go for it. you know?
That's
So
the way I do it too.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun to kind of just get the gist of something and then,
Yeah,
so yeah, I would consider music my play
cool.
and cooking a little
And,
bit.
um, and I'm not gonna sway either way. I have my own opinions about this, but what do you think about AI and its use in creativity?
Um, I think it's a shame that, I guess, I mean, there are pros and cons to everything. The part that I think is a shame about it is that I think it stops people from engaging in creativity, really.
Mm,
And
mhm.
that's just me. Maybe that's just how I've used it. I, you know, you type in an idea and it pops out something for you. And I feel like that for me kind of defeats the purpose of going through the experience of being creative.
Yeah.
Um, and I also, and maybe this is just that it isn't, maybe it's going to get better and this will no longer hold true, but at least for some of the songs that I've heard that were AI generated, they didn't. I mean, they were like all words I've heard before. There wasn't anything
No,
to me that was compelling about
there's no
outlet.
yeah, there's no Mozart coming out of there.
Yeah, there's
No.
not like there's no, I don't know.
Yeah.
I, it I'm sure it's useful. It's an interesting tool. You know,
That's the
it's
way I consider it too.
yeah. And
And it's not there either with the art either.
yeah,
So, I've played around with it. I've asked it to mesh, 2 different styles and picked a subject and was awful. And I was just like, "Oh boy, no." Then, and then I tried to drill it down a little more for direction and it's still not there. I mean, it doesn't mean, 10 years from now we have a conversation and we're like, "Holy shit,"
right. That just wrote my
yeah.
favorite song. Just created an entirely new genre of painting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, but, for me, as long as it's labeled AI as a piece of art, I'm okay with somebody buying that as long as they know that it wasn't, human generated. I don't feel that it's going to just like with all the technology we have, I don't feel it's gonna nudge out artists. I don't feel that way at all. I think there's always gonna be the need for a human to take in everything that we know about this world and spit out something artistically. Computer can't do that because it doesn't have the nuance of understanding, the cultures and all the things.
Right.
So I don't feel as fearful of it as some people do, but I definitely think it's a tool. I mean, I use it every day for marketing and work.
Right.
Like it's, and I never use it direct. I always take it just as a, starting off point. But and I always customize it, but it helps me to like get things done a lot quicker. So I appreciate it in that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've heard as well that it's really good for medicine because it's something that's able to like scan all the human knowledge that's available. Right.
Yeah, there's somebody, I forget who I watched. He's working on that because his son had an issue and he's developing that. So it's connecting everything so people can help to figure out, what's wrong with them. And soon we'll have, little pods we can stand in and it'll scan your body and know everything that's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in that way, I think it's like amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. Okay. Are you ready for the last step? I
Sure.
have my, quick fire questions, and there's no
Okay.
right answer here. And I just love to ask these because 'cause they're just fun. What was your first concert?
Amy Grant when I was 13. My dad took me.
Oh, very
Yep.
good. Yeah, side note, if you haven't watched it, her husband, Vince Gill, sings with Carrie Underwood. This beautiful song, and I'll send it to you if you don't know about it, but, it just every time I listen to it, it's just so moving. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I'll send it over to you. Um, what's your dream collaboration, live or dead?
My dream collaboration, alive or dead.
Yeah.
So that's a really interesting question.
Besides Amy Grant.
Yeah, it actually wouldn't be Amy Grant, which is interesting. It would be Jimmy Webb. He's just like a phenomenal songwriter. His songs just, yeah.
I have to look him up. I don't know Jimmy. Yeah, that's great.
Have you heard the song The Highwayman?
Yeah.
He wrote that, or Wichita Lineman.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah. He's a phenomenal songwriter, and I would just love to meet him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest gig location you've played to date?
Oh, weirdest gig location. An abandoned mental institution.
Oh. Please do tell.
So it wasn't at this place, but it was near enough to this place that we were catching the vibe of the place.
God.
Yeah, there was a picnic. It was when I had just first started singing out with a band. And we're driving down this beautiful country road, beautiful sunny day. And then all of a sudden we get close to where we're supposed to be. And it's just acres and acres of these old brick. It looks like a facility,
Oh my.
and
Oh
the
my.
whole feeling of the place just like took a nosedive.
Oh my.
Yeah. And before we knew what it was, we could just feel something different in the air. So yeah, that was the weirdest. We traveled through that to get to the gig, and then the gig was all right. And then had to go back.
Had to go take a shower after that. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was
Like,
a
get
lot
the
of,
bad juju off of you. Yeah.
you could feel the suffering. Like you could feel.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
no, that's crazy. So, you prefer headphones or speakers?
it depends what I'm doing. If I'm learning a song or honing in on a specific part, producing details, I guess through the working process, I prefer headphones. And then at the end, I like to take them off and listen in different speakers just to
Yeah.
see, how the overall sound came across.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Who's the artist on your current playlist?
The artist on my current playlist, Chapel Roan.
Oh, funny. Morning creativity or night creativity?
Both. Yep. It seems to be
Find
the sun is down.
what's that?
When the sun is down, that seems to be
Yep.
all good.
Yeah, me too. I'm more of a night person. Um, Vinyl cassette, CD, or streaming?
Probably streaming.
Yeah, that's me too. If you weren't a musician, and besides being a lawyer, what would you be doing, do you think?
I think I would be a poet.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Um, if you could only play one, and this is the last question, if you could only play one song for the rest of your life, not that it's continually playing, but that when you go to listen to something, that's the only song you can listen to, what would it be?
Only one for the whole rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's a really hard question.
It is. It's hard for me to answer that one.
I would say my favorite song is Desperado by the Eagles,
Oh,
but I
nice.
wouldn't want to listen to, I feel like it would have to be a song that I wouldn't mind destroying.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, I don't know what it would be.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time today. For
Thank you.
everybody watching, we'll provide all of Sarah's information in the description. So, what do you have coming up that you'd like to announce?
So I have a couple different projects that I'm working on. The first is a solo project that you can hear in all different venues around the Raleigh Triangle area. And that's primarily pop music, like divas, a lot of really great, some pianos, Elton John, Billy Joel kind of stuff. And then I'm working with my boyfriend on a duo project where it's just the two of us, but we sound like a full band. So we've been working on
Cool.
it for a while to kind of iron that out, and it's going to be under the name Hudson Lane.
Cool.
That's
Are
like,
you using the loopers? Is that what you're using?
well, we're playing multiple instruments at the same time, and we're debating whether to get some looping going on in the meantime.
It would probably be a lot easier,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just throwing that out there, but
yeah,
I think, I mean, you're still creating the loop right in front of people, so yeah,
yes, that
yeah,
is always fun to watch when people are like building
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah, very cool. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Feel free to nominate yourself or someone you know as our next guest. Thank you for being a part of our creative community. Stay inspired and keep shining bright.